What's up, TheCoreofU fam? It's another Friday, August 28th. We hope that you're doing well. We hope that you're surrounded by love, good people, and most importantly, as always, I love to say that you are having or maintaining peace in your home, in your heart, wherever you are. If you're at work, if you're at school, whatever's going on in your life, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, that you're having peace. Thank you for joining us today at the Core of You. We're gonna hit on a topic that actually our cousin Tasha from what's the name of Tasha's thing? She Nominal and Champion Empowerment. Our cousin Tasha and She Nominal talked to us about, or she just sent us a letter, or sent us not a letter, but just a questionnaire about how can we talk about not losing yourself. Wife, you got to get the phone, turn it off. Not losing yourself, your identity, your individualism in a relationship. Right? How do you maintain your you while you're in a relationship with your other? And it is, we can definitely talk about this because we experience this, and we never like to talk to you or bring you anything that we don't do ourselves, right? We definitely have experienced this. So after Bianca, after she had our first child, Lyric, who was getting ready to be 6 in another month and a half, she came to me one day and was just like, listen, and I'm paraphrasing, but she was like, listen, I'm feeling lost. I'm not feeling me. It's too much. I'm being pulled on and dragged from this. So I'm a mother. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a cousin. I work. She works professionally every day, like even more hours than me during the day. So she was doing all this. We go to church. She's on different auxiliaries in church. So she had friends. She's an AKA. So listen, so she was wearing like all of these hats. And she was like, listen, I'm starting to lose me. I don't know who I am. I don't know what's going on with me. I need to just step back, and I need you to help me. I need you to take all of this that you can take and allow me to be me and to go find me again. And that was a journey that was it was very interesting. It was very interesting. It was, and it, listen, we didn't, it didn't lead, we're still together, we're still married, things are going good. So it didn't lead us to divorce. It didn't, but it was like, it was like a punch in the gut for me, because I was like, oh, okay.
Were you thinking everything was fine during that time?
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. So I'm rolling. I'm doing my father thing, my husband thing. I thought I was good. I thought I was on it. And she came to me and said, "Listen, I'm losing me." Or like, no, she pretty much was like, "No, I've lost me, and I need to find me again. I need you to help me to do that." But the crazy thing about it was like, there's really nothing you can do for me individually. I just need you to take these responsibilities and then let me go do me and let me find me. Am I right?
Yeah.
No, you tell it.
Yeah,
right?
I think so. I mean, first of all, we didn't rehearse this, so we're talking about this authentically in front of you. I didn't know that we were going here tonight.
All those hats she was wearing, all the way up until we was getting ready to do the Core of You session tonight, she was on wearing her work hat all the way up to like 10 minutes from now, and here we are. Boom.
Right. And so what I will say is, when you add a new responsibility, a new life responsibility, there's so many things that are rich. It could be a new business that you're opening. It could be, like we have our coaching business, and we didn't realize how that was going to pull. We have now our core community. You are, you are high ranking and have a lot of responsibilities within the church and your job. So it's like, what happened was, I had so long to be a wife and a mother on top of all that I already had going on. I already had that going on before you came into my life, and it all hit at once. And It did. I think for me, it was especially a lot because I was nursing. So when you're a mother and you're nursing, then there's just certain things you can't do.
Yeah, shout out to all you mothers. Yeah,
you couldn't do that for me.
Yeah,
and,
no,
and
right,
even
right.
though, and we didn't give our children bottles for
Right.
the first 4 months, right?
It was even longer
it
than
might
that,
have been 6.
Yeah,
because,
I think 6 months. Yeah,
but at whatever that time period was, so what happened was it felt like a lot fell into my plate, and it wasn't fun. It wasn't enjoyable. It felt like life was just all work and no play. And there's times where I slid back into that, and I know it wasn't your responsibility to make me happy or to do it for me, but first I had to identify, like, where is my time for me, and then what is it that I want to prioritize. And I wasn't even thinking about it, because when you're so tired, you can't even think about that. But once you kind of come into the awareness, like, wait a minute, I'm not putting me first. And how do I start to carve that time back out? And how do I start to enjoy my life again? Then I could articulate it to you, and then I could say, and this is how you can help me. Right. This is how you can help me.
So wait, so let's stop right there. That's right. So ladies, do y'all hear that? So when you're doing that, because and as we coach a lot of couples and talk to a lot of people and I talk to the women and I talk to the men don't know as much about this part, but it really happens to women a lot, especially when they become mothers. And so you heard what she said. She said, listen, this is how you can help me. Ladies, I need you. I really, really need you. It's important. I know he loves you and been sexing you up and been loving you and been doing all of these great things, but he is not a mind reader, okay? I know somewhere in your life somebody told you watched Love Jones, and Love Jones told you that he was supposed to know your mind. Stop that nonsense, okay? Stop it. Real life, tell him. And that's what she did. She had to come to me and say, babe, this is how I need you to help me to get back to me. And then I'm like, okay, this is serious. This is one of those serious conversations. Stop whatever we're doing, and it's time to listen. Like, real talk, it's time to listen, because, and you got to have that in your, this is another part of your relationship you got to have. You got to have some kind of keywords or a look or a stance. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you got to be holding a gun. Whatever it is you got to do, whatever's going on, whatever it is you have with your significant other that says, okay, turn the TV off, turn your sports off, do whatever you, and this is a serious conversation. We need to go to the table and have a serious conversation. And that's what she did. We had already expressed that to one another, and she said, listen, I need you to listen to me. This is what, and this is how you can help me. And then she started naming ways that I could help. So that meant more dishwashing. Man, I used to I would tease her, because I was like, babe, for like 6 months or so, I was a single parent, because I was like feeding the kids. The one thing that she was doing that I haven't still learned yet, Tasha, is doing Lyric's hair, my daughter's hair, right? So I didn't learn that. So she would do that, but I would get them dressed. I would feed them. Then I was home for like a month or a little bit longer than that. Then I went back to work. But then I would get home, I was doing whatever study time was, anything to keep them up, and just let her go. I was trying to do everything that I could do to let her get back to her. So, but she told me, she asked me, she laid it out for me.
Enlist help of family.
And we had to get family involved, most definitely, man.
We've committed to making sure we have like staycations or times for us too, so that the couple time doesn't get lost. But so I think first you have to recognize it's happening, and how you recognize it's happening, that you're losing yourself in all the titles instead of just being who you are, is that you disconnected. You just realize you're doing, and the being isn't. There isn't a presence of peace and enjoyment.
If you could please, really, how did that feel when you did? What were you saying? You told me, and but I want to know, how did you feel as being there when you felt like you really lost yourself in that moment? What was going on with you in your mind? Well, I
think a lot as survivors, as resilient people, I think we're all here because you just kick in the autopilot. You don't think, you don't feel, you just do what you got to do to get through each day. And that's what I started to realize, like, wait a minute, I'm not tasting my food.
You did say that.
I'm not enjoying my meals. I'm eating standing up. I am, like, I have this long to-do list, but I'm not enjoying any of it while I'm doing it. I'm just trying to check stuff off and get to the next task and just get to the bed and wake up and do it all over again. But it's like, then you start to realize, what am I looking forward to tomorrow? If it's just more of this. And the one thing I kept saying is, like, this is not sustainable. This is not, I'm not feeling connected. I'm not enjoying church. I'm not enjoying my friend time. I even made friend time, but it just all felt like checking the box. It didn't feel like I was living from an authentic place. And even us being able to have sex, okay, oh my God, I gotta fit that in too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all of it began to feel like an obligation and a heavy weight.
Okay.
So that's the number one thing. If you start to feel, and even if you don't have children, this could go for men or women. When you start to realize you're losing yourself in whatever it is that you're doing, the first thing you will realize is that you are not experiencing it or feeling it. There's a disconnect. You're just doing it.
And that's kind of what I wanted to get in on this, because I wanted you to talk to the women about motherhood, because I obviously can't speak about that, about being a wife and about motherhood and being a daughter and all the many hats that you wear as a woman. And I think for men, we kind of get into that where we lose ourselves sometimes, because when we're young, we're playing basketball, we're lifting weights, we got the girls, we're doing all of this, right? Then we get into a relationship, and a lot of that goes away, especially when fatherhood. So a lot of that goes away. So earlier on, when it was just you and I, you remember I was playing ball like 3 times a week.
And I was watching you.
Yeah, you were watching me, right? You're right. So I was
doing my gym thing.
Right. We were balling, and we would go to the gym together. Then we got the kids. A lot of that stuff stopped. And listen, I'm not saying that to scare anybody from having children or that it's bad. We prioritize making sure that we pour in, still to this day, pour into our children. We want to make sure that they are solid in their foundation as young people, so then when they become adults, they can be solid still, right? So it's okay. We're all right with that. We knew what we were getting ourselves into, but you still have to find areas and spaces and time and place in that where you say, okay, and thank God for like my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law. I don't use the in-laws, but just to express who they were. My mother, her mom, and her sister, oh my God. And even my sister, trying like, hey, I need you to come out here so you can watch the children or whatever was going on, right? We really relied on family and pulled on family to help us. And her sister is really been amazing for us. Shout out to Kia Poindexter, because she will say, listen, just let the kids come over here for a week and let them stay with me so you guys can just have your time. And those moments have been amazing. So you have to have times where you pull away and take time for yourself as an individual. We'll get to that in a second, but as a couple. So, we take our, as she called them, our staycations. We make sure that we have those. And you know what? I have to give props to and credit where that's due. Excuse me. Her grandfather. Grandfather was the one who really told us about that. Like, seriously, he was like, listen, make sure you guys take time for you as a couple. You guys need to get away. And I think he said like once a month.
He said once a month.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, and so, we can't always get away once a month, but that's what he said. I mean, he let us know. So sometimes if that means putting the kids to bed and staying up so we can talk and go over what we need to go over.
Now we're even talking about having our couple moment, our weekly, whatever our couple connection moment.
We reconnect. We try our best to reconnect, right?
Yeah, because you can get lost. That's how the relationship gets lost. And so then how do you connect with yourself? Like New Year's, case in point. My husband loves to be on time. I was in my spirit that I wanted to take a bath. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to have a me moment. Mm-hmm. So I said, you know what? This how we gonna do this. You go on ahead.
We've been blessed with 2 cars, so yeah, go ahead.
You take the children. We were just being with family anyway, so we were only going 12 minutes down the road. There was no concerns of any kind of problem with us driving separate. And that way, I got to do me. So sometimes you just have to draw a line in the sand and say, I need this moment for me, and this is what I'm going to do.
She was at home. Y'all remember that commercial, that Calgon Take Me Away? She was at home doing a Calgon Take Me Away commercial.
On New Year's Eve.
On New Year's Eve.
With some candles, and I'm sure there was red wine or something. But
no doubt.
So you just have to know when you need to recharge. Whatever your recharge is. So first you have to be aware that it's happening in you. In your relationship, you become disconnected. I've had that in my profession, where I'm like, whoa, okay, I am not going. When you become uncomfortable in your spirit, when you become tired, when you become exhausted in whatever you're doing, there is a sign there that something needs to shift.
And like talking to me, I'll say, and she was like, listen, this could get to a point where I can begin to resent you and the children, you know what I mean? So that's real. That now when you're, your loved one, somebody that you plan to be married and stay into with all your life and to grow old and gray with, right? Says that I don't resent you, but I could see myself getting to that point because I'm losing me. That's serious. So we had to address it quick, fast, in a hurry. And I'm not going to tell y'all that we perfected it, but I think we did a decent job, and we're still working on it still today. And then the other thing I was going to say, so as a couple, we would take our staycations and make sure we had our time together to recharge, and then individually. She has her friends, her sister, whatever, family, her sisters,
The Compton Women's Retreat.
Her women's retreat. Yeah, I have my and I don't have a whole lot of friends. And listen, don't y'all cry or feel bad for me. I'm a Scorpio man, so I'm comfortable with just hanging with me. But I need that me time or hang with my 1 or 2 individual friends. Men's retreat at church and stuff like that. Watch sports, maybe watch a game or 2. You need to be able to pull away and just have your own time where you do you. And especially as long as it doesn't take away from the relationship and what's going on. Like, you don't want to be missing out on paying bills and taking care of serious things, you know what I mean, to do that. But you'll have those moments where you can pick and choose. So it's just maintaining your you while you're in a relationship with somebody else. That's what we really want to come in and talk to you about today. And it's very serious. There have been many relationships, marriages, whatever, that have broken up. I have talked to women that have been married 20, 25, 30, 35 years, and they're like, listen, I have talked to women that said, I just waited till my children to get old so I can get them out to college, and then I divorced and got away because I completely lost out on me. He wasn't considerate of me. He didn't love me. He didn't like me. He didn't see me. All of those things, right? And I'm like, well, did you tell him? And then sometimes they were like, yeah, but sometimes they were like, well, he should have known. We've been married for 30 years. Don't assume, ladies. Tell him. Tell him what's going on. And that's
where part of knowing each other's love language comes back in, as well as I will say that you kind of have to just check in on each other every now and then. Like, are we okay? Is this okay? How are you doing in this area? And you have to feel comfortable to be able to say, I'm not feeling good about myself right now. I'm not feeling good. Like, there's a lot of vulnerability in being able to do that. Because means you have to make change. And some people have to be up for that,
It's so much vulnerability in love, period. Like, just in marriage and relationships and then in parenting. I mean, like, you're open, man. I mean, seriously. And, you don't know. You just never know. We send our children to school. Wifey goes to work. I may go to work. Whatever. Shoot, you go to the grocery store. And coming back home is just not promised. So there's a lot of vulnerability. There could be a lot of stress and anxiety with it. So you have to find ways to really, really navigate through all of that. Healthy ways to navigate through all of that. Tasha said, I was too busy trying to prove myself worthy in his eyes, and I had lost Tasha, I had lost me. I posted something today about that on Facebook, that, you know, your weakness does not determine your worth. Your weakness does not determine your worth. And in fact, and then I put a little side note, in fact, when you become aware, that's really your introduction to your value.
It is. And when you realize in any friendship, relationship, workship that you're giving up too much to be in that, that's a sign of, okay, I'm there's a difference between evolving and losing. Because they cousins to one another. You know what I mean?
Wait, say that again. Now that's a nugget.
I said there is a difference between evolving and losing. You know what I'm saying? Because they can look alike, but the outcome is different. You know what I'm saying? Because both require you to do something that you're not already doing, usually. But the way that you know, and I love that Tasha brought that to the forefront, is because a lot of times we get in relationships and that there's that honeymoon period, and then you're just doing did whatever it is to get together.
Bishop Kosh used to say that,
right?
Yeah.
But when this starts to be like, I'm doing everything that you want to do, and none of this is gratifying to me, and nothing of this starts to feel good to me,
right?
Whatever it is, you know. I might be now a woman that's going to get my hair done every week because you like it a certain way,
right.
Or I'm trying to cook meals 7 days a week,
right.
Or, you know, right. I'm going to all the sporting events. But it's like, are you coming to the plays with me? Are we praying together? Are we doing stuff that we each want to do, or is it all one-sided? Am I feeling like I'm growing as a person, or do I feel like I'm just doing everything this other person wants to do?
Wow. And you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that person that's always giving and never receiving, because
right.
you'll become, and that goes back to what we said last week and what we said a few weeks ago. That's why reciprocation is so important in a relationship, at just as important as communication, effective communication, because you want to make sure that you're giving and not always, you want to make sure that you're getting some and not always giving. If you're always depositing and never withdrawing, yeah, you're going to have a fat bank account, but are you really enjoying the fruits of your labor? You know what I mean? And so when it comes to that, are you really enjoying it? So listen, and we're open book with what we're doing over here, man. We don't have it all figured out, but we're working every day very, very hard. I'm trying not to lose me, who I am as an individual, but I still want to make sure that I made enough mistakes in past relationships that I am determined to be present in this relationship, right? So I want to make sure that I'm loving my wife and being there for her and being a good friend and being a good steward over the things that we work to have and to keep. I want to be a good father over my children. I want to be good to them. I want to be present. But at the same time, I have me. I have my little things that I like to do. And when the other person allows you to do that, it makes you feel good when you come back to the relationship, right? And then knowing it's just like a job, though. It has, and that's what I was getting ready to say. There has to be some trust, yeah.
If there's any kind of breach, now your alone time feels to me like the breach time.
Yeah. So what are you doing with that time, right?
Yeah. So I think people have to consider where you are in your relationship too, and don't take for granted that if you're in a building of trust phase, then your me time has to look a little different than when you've already established. And
so that means when you say you're in a relationship with somebody, then you want to make sure that you're in a relationship with somebody that's mature. Because when they're mature, then they will make sure that they do things that shows themselves trustworthy.
Yeah.
Right?
Because I should be able to call you, your phone, you should be able to pick up. Yeah. We should be able to talk. It shouldn't be feeling weird. And ladies, when it comes to reciprocity and stuff, don't let your man be the only one that initiates intimacy. It has to go, we got to do this across the board. That's what evolution looks like versus I'm just your sex slave and I'm tired and I'm doing it every time you want to do it just because I'm trying to show that I'm about it.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? There's a difference between losing you and evolving and growing into whatever role it is. Same
like
thing with work. I've had to make sure I don't lose myself in work and dial back, because it's like, wait a minute, I've been in a new role and on the management side, and at some point it's like when everybody starts to feel like all you're doing is working, and I'm never able to kind of separate that time. Or my husband brought to my attention, oh wait, when that phone goes off for work, I lose you. You got to pull it back, like the pendulum swings back, and that's actually a spiritual law. There's just the law of polarity, and whenever we are in that zone, we just have to monitor that we don't let we don't swing too far in any one direction,
Right.
And that's really why it's important to have your practices and have your tribe and have people that keep you real, because they'll pull your coattails and let you know, wait a minute, how many people have told me, it's B, you've always said you wanted to write, it's time to do that book. And now, Tasha, shout out to my tribe of women, and that we are definitely going to be bringing forth an anthology. I don't know about the rules, so I'm not going to pre-do it, but there's big things to come. So your people will push you into your gift. Shout out to Aunt Crystal, who says, hey, y'all waited too long, a week in between doing TheCoreofU Fridays. Make sure you get back out there. Shout out to the people that will push you. So another way that you can tell when you've lost yourself is the people close to you. They'll keep you accountable to who you are,
to your calling, to your gift.
Like,
and you want to make sure that you surround yourself with people that will continue to push you in your calling, because sometimes you get weary in well doing, right? And so you want to make sure that you surround yourself with people that you're going to label as friends or family or sisters or brothers that may not share the same blood, that say, hey, you're not walking in your purpose and your calling. It's time for you to get back in there. You out here hanging with me. That ain't my purpose or my calling. It's yours. So get back in there, and they'll push you back in the ring, right? They say, hey, get back in the fight. Put them gloves back on. Okay, you done took your little break. I gave you some water. Wipe your eyes like Rocky. Now get back in there and fight. It's another round,
and women and parents, because we got some phenomenal mothers and fathers, together and single.
No doubt.
The best thing we can do for our children is to let them know about the importance of self-care. And so there'll be times, especially in this COVID world, where I'm like, literally, there's days that I don't leave the house. So I'm having to separate the me time from the work time, from the children time, from the we time. And I'll tell the children, I need you to just let me have a meal to myself. Mommy is not here to just serve you. I need to be refreshed so I can be a better me for you. So I have to, and I'll be like, you know what? I've been a little fussy today. So we all have to be real, but even in our parenting, I have to let them know, you got to let mommy do me so I can be a better version of me to you. Period. So I'm trying to teach them that early on, so they'll learn, because they're gonna mirror what we do and what they see.
No doubt. Yeah, and they know. All right. Let me go in my room and play with my toys, and they'll entertain each other and do their thing for a little while. And they're learning. We're all learning, right? We're all learning. I'm learning to be better at coming home, and although some days I may have had, and so right now our situation is, just so you know, I go into work every day, 5 days a week. Wifey's staying home with the children, and so she's working and being the at-home teacher too, right? So shout out to her, because she's being the MVP all the way right now. So then when I come home, doesn't matter if I've had a long day or hard day at work, I need to see what's up with the family. I check on her, check on the children, and then I'm working to get better, to say, okay, what do I need to do with them? Maybe my son needs some extra work with study time. If she's done that, we're going to work now to get them outside more and to play more and to exercise and to do all of those things, and not just be sitting in the house, because, the kids nowadays, they're just sitting in the house on a tablet, and they'll do it for 5 or 6 hours if you allow them, or on your phone or on the computer or whatever, on a video game. So we're all working to be better, to make sure that we pour into one another. But you have to make sure, and I often say, and I often say this, is that you have to make sure that you pour into you so that you can be complete, whole, healthy to serve somebody else. So let's just take a teacup and a saucer. So the teacup is you, right? That's you. You, whatever you do, you pray, you meditate, you go to church, you go to dance class, you run, you exercise. Maybe you're a study person. Whatever it is you do to pour into you, reading books, whatever that is for you. Nobody gets to dip into that. Now, reality says that they will dip into that. But if you keep it on full, then it's okay. So the teacup sitting on the saucer, right? If you pour into that teacup a whole lot, so much that it starts to overflow into the saucer part is what you serve your children, your husband, your wife, your family, your friends, everybody else with. So the more you stay overflow, the more you can serve from your saucer. That's how life is supposed to be. Because I often use the example of being on the plane. When you get on the plane, they tell you, in case of an emergency, if we hit some altitude and the mask come down, when the mask come down, they always tell you, put your mask on first. Take care of you first, and then proceed to help somebody else who needs assistance. And that's just how you have to do in your life. Take care of you. Make sure you're whole, healthy, and complete. Then you can be a better version of yourself for all of those other people around you.
And here's the hard part. If there's someone in your life that will not allow you to do that, then they may not be able to, they have to be repositioned.
Well, I love to say those aren't your people.
Yeah, so
and
that's
hard. It's hard, but I'm telling you this, and listen to me good, CoreofU family. Letting go hurts.
Woo.
Letting go hurts. It hurts sometimes like hell. But it will never compare to the pain that you will feel if you stay. So sometimes you have to let go. It will never compare to the pain of you staying. So you need to let go now, sooner than later. All right? I hope you really take that. So listen, this was our message for you for today of pouring into your relationship, but making sure that you be the best version of yourself, bringing that best version and staying authentic to you.
Yeah, not losing you.
Not losing you. Not losing who you are for the sake of your relationship. Is there going to be compromise? Absolutely. Are you going to sometimes do things that you may not prefer to do? Sure. But that shouldn't be every day, every situation, all the time. Compromise means we're working together 50-50, right? So we love you. Follow us at TheCoreofU, CORE of the letter U on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube.
And share this, you guys. We appreciate you joining us and sharing. You are the community of restoration and enlightenment. Keep your light shining. Keep restoring yourself to your default spiritual greatness. We are all going back to what we already know. It's all in you, what you need. And we just hope to help bring it out.
No doubt. Hope y'all have a great weekend. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We love y'all. Peace.